online crew, how are you today? We are going to talk about hashtags today. Do you need them? Do you need them on Facebook? What's the importance of them on Instagram? How many should you have on Instagram? What's the most effective way to use hashtags? So let's have a chat about it because it is pretty important on social media to understand a little bit about hashtags. Those that are on Instagram, it's even more important for you to understand about hashtags. But Facebook is a little bit slow on the uptake of hashtags, but it is an important conversation to have because it can help increase your organic reach. So that's what we're going to concentrate on today. How are you? It is Helen Martin here, your online crew captain. This is just a little bit of fun for our online crew community here, which is entrepreneurs, home-based business owners, those in direct selling, MLM, all of that kind of business model. So if you have any kind of home-based business and you want to leverage social media and use modern social media strategies to grow your business, you are in the right place because that's predominantly what we talk about here. So excuse me, if you're joining me live, make sure you say hello. Let me know where you're coming in from. Let's see how many countries we are reaching here today. On this camera here, I am on Facebook, on my free group, and on YouTube. And over here, I am over on Instagram. So hello to those over on Instagram. Just a reminder, my last live video of the week, which is tomorrow, is only in my free Facebook group, which is called Social Media Strategies for Home Business Owners. So you definitely want to make sure you're in my free Facebook group to make sure you don't miss that, or that you can actually catch the recording of that particular video. Now, I do want to let you guys know, those of you in my coaching community, I did a training for you guys not long ago on a 90-day plan for October, November, December. Let's get you organized and into gear and getting some great results in the next 3 months of the year. And I've done up a template Trello board for you guys. I've actually given you like a template to follow for the next 90 days. So if you were not on that training, coaching community members, you need to watch the replay and get the link to the little piece of software that I've created for you so you can go and get organized for the next 3 months, okay? That's the kind of cool stuff that I do for those in our coaching community. I create it and I give it to you. So make sure you go and catch that, coaching community members. Now, I just want to say a massive thank you for those of you that saw my post regarding, and I talked a little bit about it yesterday regarding my book. People are like wanting to get it now. Where's the link? How do I do it? Can I get the electronic copy or the rest of it? I'm officially launching it, depending on what time zone you're in, next Tuesday night or Wednesday morning if you're in Australia or early hours of the UK. Okay, so on that day, this live, which will be an hour earlier than I am now, I'll have all the links for all the countries. So you can just click on it and you can get it for free. It'll only be free for the electronic version for 24 hours. And the hard copy, if you want a hard copy of it, it'll be $9.99 US just for the 24 hours. So put it in your calendars. Make sure you're here with me live. I'll have all the links in the description, and that's where you can get it and how you can get it, and get it for free electronically, or just for $10 for US for the paper version. So that's how you can get it if you want to get a copy of it. So I did put it up yesterday on my live, and thank you to the rock stars that joined me on my live yesterday. If you missed that, go and catch the recording. Okay, so how are you guys? Who's here? We've got Debbie, we've got Cherie, we've got Donna, we've got Linda. How are you guys? Leslie, if you're watching live, then just say hello. Let me know where you're coming in from. Okay, so let me get into this. Who has a bit of knowledge around hashtags, or needs a little bit of knowledge around hashtags? Do you think you know? Are you just flying blind? Do you not have any idea? Like, I'd love to know what your thoughts are and our experience and knowledge is around hashtags, because here's what I'm going to share with you today. I'm going to share with you some general principles around hashtags, and then I'm going to give you a bit of a strategy. So if you want to get a pen and paper, you might want to write down, when I actually get to the strategy sort of part of it, how best to use hashtags. So overall, what you need to know, and some people, if you're not an Instagram user, you might not have any idea, because it's predominantly been an Instagram thing. Hashtags actually started on Twitter, if you didn't know that, probably about 10 years ago. So there you go. So it's important for you to know how to use them to increase your organic reach. If you want to increase your results in your business, you need people to see more of your stuff. So one, you've got to create great content. So that's up to you to be able to learn and how to create great content and be consistent with all of that, and know your target market and blah, 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 all of that kind of stuff. But essentially, we are relying on algorithms. You don't own anything on social media except for an email list. So, Facebook, even Instagram, you don't own anything. If your pages get shut down, then, you're shut down essentially. So in relation to how we build on social media, we just want as many people to see our stuff as possible and to engage and all the rest of it. So it's up to you to create engaging content and all those kind of things. But if you have any opportunity to use hashtags to increase your reach, you want to do that, do you not? So very, very important on Instagram, kind of a little bit important on Facebook. I'll get to that. But it's not just a matter of using the pound symbol and putting some words, behind it, because it's not really going to be effective for you. So you might be using them, but it might not be effective. So, hello, Faye. Hello, Beth. Hello, Leslie. Thank you much, Facebook user. So anybody that appears like that, it just means you're watching from my free group, and you need to click the StreamYard link at the bottom of the description of the live. You won't see that description on my business page or YouTube or Instagram, but you will see that in the free group. So what comments have you got around hashtags? Let me know your feedback regarding them. Clueless, little bit of knowledge, using them but not sure how to use them effectively. Let me know where your knowledge sits with this. I would love to know. So Faye I love the honesty. Don't know anything, hashtag. Flying by the seat of my pants. Missing the boat. Okay, thank you, Faye. And honestly, most people will be sitting where you're sitting, and that's why I'm talking about it. So, you're just honest enough to actually sort of, say it out loud. So thank you, Faye. So I'm going to run through. I've got a number of points here, and you just want to take note of this if you want to be effective with your hashtags, okay? So Instagram first. So there'll be a bit of a mismatch here with platforms. But it'll predominantly be advice regarding Instagram, I guess, because that's the main player when it comes to hashtags and where you really want to utilize it, because it's a huge component of being successful on Instagram is the hashtags that you use, not so much on Facebook, okay? So I read, and it's really confusing, guys. Just when you think you've got it right, some other guru comes out and says, no, don't do that, do this. And then 3 weeks later, somebody else comes and says, just ignore that advice and do that. So jury's out for me in relation to, so I'm just doing my own testing. If you're not aware, the maximum number of hashtags you can use on Instagram is 30. Okay. If you use any more than that, it just tells you you've reached your limit and you can't use any more than that. In relation to TikTok, if you're using TikTok, you have a maximum of 150 characters for your caption and hashtags. So you can only put as many hashtags as will fit, and then it will tell you you've reached your limit, okay? As far as Facebook goes, Facebook about 2 years ago, if anybody used hashtags, it was actually limit their reach. So we were all told don't use hashtags on Facebook. A year or 18 months ago, Facebook started putting alerts in front of people in their newsfeed saying use hashtags. And it's like, what's this all about? We've been told not to use hashtags on Facebook. And then they started to say, start using hashtags on Facebook because it'll increase your reach. People on Facebook, I mean, how many of you seriously go and search stuff on Facebook via a hashtag? Tell me, is there anybody watching that is a Facebook user that goes to Facebook and searches content via a hashtag? Oh, I've got a poor connection on Instagram, so hopefully I'll come back. Yep, there we are. So I'd love to know if that's something. So it's still not there yet, whereas Instagram, it's a huge part of the equation with creating content and getting reach for your content on Instagram, okay? So what I would recommend with I'm just going to backtrack to Instagram. Here's been the advice. So I'll just be completely blatant with you with the advice that I've seen just recently and why I'm doing my own testing. Maximum number of hashtags on Instagram is 30. Okay. And if you're just seeing me looking up and down, it's because I'm here on this camera on Instagram and I'm here on Facebook and YouTube over here. Okay. So if you're just seeing me looking up and down, I'm just coordinating two different cameras. So you have a maximum of 30 hashtags on Instagram. So we all used that up until maybe 4-6 weeks ago, maybe 8 weeks tops. And then the latest advice came out saying basically use, 7 or 8 to 15, because supposedly it confuses the algorithm on Instagram if you use all 30. Kind of made sense when that sort of recommendation came out. I saw another piece of advice from a guru who's got hundreds of thousands of followers on Instagram just last night saying, that advice means nothing. It will not make any difference to your reach. Use all maximum of 30. And it's like, man, when you just think you figured it out, somebody comes along and says something different. So what I would always say, because everyone's a little bit different, you've all got different audiences, you've all got different sizes of audience, do your own testing and find out what works for you and then evaluate it. Okay. Hey, Christina on Instagram. So mix it up. Do 8, then do 15, then do 30, and then look at your results to see what you seem to be getting more, reach and engagement. Like, you have to know how to look at your insights to do that. But I would just say, I don't know. I'm going to put my hands up in the air and say, well, some people are saying this and some people are saying that. I don't really know. So I'm doing my own testing. So some of my posts on Instagram, I'll just do about 15. Others I'll do 20, and others I just do the full whole 30 hashtags. So make your own evaluation, because it's not clear the advice that's been given. The one thing we do know regarding hashtags on Instagram, though, is Instagram has just said in the last few weeks it is better if you put them in the caption rather than in the first comment of your post. So what a lot of us were doing, which was advice at the time, is instead of putting your hashtags in underneath the comment on Instagram, put it in the first caption, put it in the first comment. So it's just a lot cleaner. Your caption's cleaner and the hashtags just sort of sit out on their own in the first comment. You just do it immediately. But now the latest advice has, reach-wise, just put it in with your caption. So that's what you should be moving forward, with that. So do your own testing. To work out, what works for you and what doesn't, because it's not only the number, it's the type of hashtags that you're using, and I'll get to that in a minute, okay? When it comes to TikTok, if you're using TikTok, you've got a maximum of 150 characters, so you just use as many as fits, okay? So you might write a little bit of wording and then just fill the rest up with the hashtags. I have heard people that use TikTok say when they used less hashtags and didn't go to the maximum of 150 characters, like just used as many as they could before it maxed out, their reach actually dropped, their results dropped. So, test that for yourself. If you're playing around on TikTok, you use as many hashtags as you get to the maximum of 150 characters in your caption. In relation to Facebook, we're still not used to. Did anyone say they've used it? So a lot of no's here. So Faye said no. Leslie, no. I don't search hashtags on Facebook, said Cherie. I've searched hashtags on Facebook a couple of times, Donna. So I have done it, but just, a couple of times. No on Facebook, okay. Thank you, Dolores. I appreciate your comment there. And then in the captions or in the comments, we have to test it. So in relation to testing for captions or comments, captions I would recommend now, Beth, because the advice that was given only a couple of weeks ago from Instagram itself. So I used to say test it, whether it was captions or comment. Now I would say put all your hashtags in underneath the comments from now on, because of what Instagram came out only a week or so ago and said that you will probably perform better if you put your hashtags. Not a huge deal. It's not a mistake if you put them in your comments, but I've started putting all my hashtags back in the comment section, sort of moving forward. Okay, so back to Facebook, I would probably only use about 4 or 5, to be honest. It's still not a big thing on Facebook. it looks weird. Not that you should really be worried about that. But, if you've got 30 hashtags on Facebook, you just want to space it out from your content so, it doesn't look sort of weird. But you'll probably have better results on Facebook if you niche it down and you only use, about 5 or so. So that's the advice that I have seen around the difference between the platforms. Again, don't take anything for gospel. Social media is social media. Everything changes. And it depends on a lot of things. It depends on, your content, how much content, how consistent you are, how engaged your audience is or not, and all those kind of things. Okay. All right, so let me go on to some other comments here. So that's about the number of hashtags. So using niche down hashtags can expand reach and get your content in front of the right audiences. So I've got a strategy for you, so hang on tight regarding sort of what size hashtags and that. I'll give that to you sort of in a moment. Trending hashtags are like buying a lottery ticket. Don't really rely on them. So there will be trending hashtags that come out. They get huge, that millions of people will use them. Like if there's something happening or a world event or something like that, and people, there's a new trending hashtag, the likelihood of your content being seen with a trending hashtag is next to nothing. So I wouldn't give that much focus. Once you find hashtags that are working, use those hashtag sets more often. So test up different types of hashtags. A good way to start, if you don't know much about it, particularly on Instagram, you absolutely must be using hashtags. Go to somebody that is doing similar to what you're doing. So in the same niche area with the same kind of target market, and look at the hashtags they're using. But go and look at a few people, not just one person. Just because you go to one guru who might be in a similar target market to you and you copy all their hashtags doesn't mean you should stop there or use that as gospel or that they've even got it right. So go to a few people that you follow on Instagram that are in the same niche as you, would have the same target market, and have a look at the hashtags that they're using. And if there's similarities to that across them, then that would be a good indication perhaps of ones to use. But it also depends on size, which I'll get to in a minute. Okay. But don't be afraid to use the same hashtag over and over and over and over again when you find somebody that's really niched down to you. So what you want to be careful of is those of you in health and wellness, and you just use, like 3 hashtags, and one is health and wellness, one is healthy living, and one is live life or live happy or something like that. If they're the 3 hashtags that you've chosen, the chance of your content being seen anywhere is like 0, basically. They're way too large. They're way too common. So you want to have, and this is the strategy I'll give you in a second, you want to have a combination of large ones, middle-sized ones, and really niched down ones, okay? Now there is, depending on how serious you are about this, there is like a website that I recommend. It is a paid thing though, so you don't need to go to this extent if you're new, but if you want to get serious about hashtags, flick.tech, so FLICK.TECH, Flick Tech can give some super results with super targeted sort of hashtags. So it's just an option for those of you that want to go further. Okay, you can use the same hashtags on every post without being penalized, but using different hashtags and different sets and things like that can help you reach new people. If you use exactly the same hashtags on everything all the time, then how are you going to reach, new people that haven't seen you before? So don't be afraid to sort of mix it up a little bit and have hashtag sets. So make sure that what hashtags you're using for what content you've got are relevant. So if you do, so I mix up my content. I still have quotes that are going up that are inspiring. And, there might be just a message that somebody needs to read for that day regarding getting out of their own way or their self-belief or things like that. Now, I'm not necessarily going to put, a hashtag that says social media tips and strategies on that. So I've got a whole different set of hashtags that I put on something like a quote. They're all mindset and inspiration and positivity and, sometimes I will put entrepreneur in there because the entrepreneurs need to see those kind of messages. So if I put something up about Harley, then I'll go to the pugs hashtags, pugs life, pug mum, anything to do with that. If I'm doing a carousel post or a reel that's talking about social media, then I'm putting social media tips, social media strategy, personal branding, those kind of things. So make sure you're choosing the different hashtags for the content and different sizes. So again, strategy coming in a second. Okay, I'm getting there. But what would make it easier for you if you save them in two places on your phone? So one, I have my hashtags saved in my notes in my phone, so I can just go and copy and paste. But I also have text replacement, and I use it every single day. If you don't know what that is, coaching community, I've got a training video on that in the coaching community for you on how to set that up. But there is a feature on all of your phones. You just need to work out whether you've got Android, iPhone, how you actually do it. So when I go and do a post on Instagram, my codes for my hashtags, so HS means hashtag social media. On my motivational stuff, inspirational stuff, my code is HM. So hashtags motivation. So once I've done my post, I go and I just simply type. So once you put it in the background of text replacement, then I don't have to go into text replacement to pull them up. I just literally type HS and then all my hashtags just come up. So if you're using hashtags in any capacity, if you're an Instagram user, you absolutely should have text replacement set up, because it'll save lots of time and lots of headaches, and you just might need to amend them or just, create new, up-to-date ones. Okay. Now here's the strategy. All right. So here's what I recommend you do with hashtags. So choose 3 to 5 popular hashtags, so bigger ones. When I say bigger, around the 300,000 to 1 million in a following. So if you don't know much about hashtags, when you go into the search in Instagram and you go up the top and you put a hashtag in and you open up the hashtag, it'll tell you how many people are following that hashtag. So that's the number that I'm talking about. Okay, so choose 3 to 5 popular hashtags that represent your target market and your niche, and those will be around sort of 300,000 to 1 million. Anything more than 1 million, unless you're famous, you're probably not going to be seen at all. So it doesn't mean you can't choose them. You just don't want to have all your hashtags in the multiple millions, because it's just not going to help your reach at all. So if you are building on Instagram in any capacity, you really want to have a look at this, because it's going to make the difference between your content being seen or not seen. Okay. The second thing, choose 3 to 5 moderately popular hashtags. So in that would fall around roughly sort of 80,000 to the 300,000. So you got 3 to 5 big ones, you got 3 to 5 smaller ones, sort of 80,000 to 300,000, and then pick 3 to 5 really niched down ones that represent who you are, what you're doing, that are smaller and not used very much, so you can be more likely to be found, but still be found by people in your niche market. Okay, so you just need to search and start typing things in. And when you type in hashtags on Instagram, it'll tell you the amount. So, you might find, some that only 1,000, people are following that. Oh, I might use that. So have a combination of large, middle, and smaller ones. Okay. And then if you've got anything that brands you, like I often put Helen Martin Online as a hashtag. Somewhere along the line, when I'm super famous, people will want to maybe search Helen Martin Online as a hashtag itself. And then a lot of my content will come up because I've been using that. Okay, it might not mean much to you now when you don't have a very big following, but somewhere along the line, you might. So don't be afraid to create a hashtag that represents you, your brand, your name, something like that, and use it all the time, because one day, people might search you, for the amazing person that you are, and, the following that you've got. Okay. If you do all of that, then you've probably got 5, 10, 15, you've probably got around about 20 just by doing that strategy. So you could either drop a few, have 3 instead of 5, or, add more and go to all 30. So just mix it up, trial and test whether on Instagram, whether you're doing the maximum of 30, or not. Okay. So that's what I recommend as far as a strategy goes, more so for Instagram. And for Facebook, I would probably, maybe use about 5. If you're not using them at all, I would start to get into the habit. I'm terrible at using it on Facebook because I'm just not used to it, but it can help you grow organic reach on Facebook. So if you're newer and not a lot of people are seeing your stuff, you've got a business page that is not really, the organic reach is not that good. This could be one way that might help, but you really want to be, with like the 5 that you're using, you really want to be specific and niched down with them so they get in front of the audience that you want. Okay, so I hope that's helpful for those of you that are clueless in relation to sort of hashtags, how many you need sort of on each platform and how to sort of mix it up. But the most important thing with anything on social media is to evaluate after the fact. So many people just put content out there and just, might be watching a few numbers, like how many people engage with it. Do I have any comments? Do I have any likes? Do I have any love? And that's as far as you go. You want to go and look at your insights. You want to go and look at the reach particularly. The more people you can reach, the more eyeballs on you, the more opportunities that you have. So you want to get a little bit cluier to, is that a word? It is now. You want to get have a few more clues to what's going on in your business by the content that you put out and potentially the hashtags that you're using as well. So I hope that's helpful. Okay. Cheryl, I definitely need to watch the replay. That's what the replays are for. No problem at all. Okay, so I hope that's helpful to you guys to have a little bit more knowledge around, hashtags, how to use them, how to place them, just be a little bit more strategic so you can get more reach, so you can get more eyeballs on you, and then it all flows from there. Okay, so I hope that's useful to you in some capacity. So remember, my live tomorrow is only in my Facebook free group, Social Media Strategies for Home Business Owners, same time as today. So I will see you guys over there tomorrow. Have a great rest of your day. Bye.